Hi, everyone. Welcome to our productivity crash course of project management strategies for leaders. I'd like to welcome back Helene Segura, who did a beautiful job of talking to us about time management last month, and we're excited to have her back to talk about project management.
Let's go ahead and kick this off with the ideas component. In the chat box, I would like for you to share what kinds of project ideas get generated at EIQ. New business, new tech rollouts, new events. So they have a beginning and they have an end. Anything related to revenue, right? And chances are there's not just one project happening at one time. There are multiple projects going on, revenue generating ones. So those are fairly broad. And if you were to break it down into various categories, you might have products, tools, campaigns, services. Something that can be done during the ideas generation portion, when you're first coming up with all these great ideas, is to begin to categorize what type of idea it is. So that way it already begins a filtering process, which is going to help with planning. Now, a lot of times what happens in companies is that leadership or certain team members will call a strategic planning meeting for brainstorming on outside of the box products and services and campaigns. And they gauge which idea to proceed with based on the one that drums up the most excitement in the room. And then it's time to jump in because that was such a great idea. Now, I am a firm believer that enthusiasm and excitement are important emotions that you should have when you're going to kick off a project. But if that is the only thing that moving forward with a project is based on, then that leads to a lot of setbacks. Instead, once all of this excitement has died down just a wee bit, and you've been able to collect all sorts of different ideas, it's time to start the idea portion of project management, which is you look at your ideas and you compare them to the mission of the company or the mission of your particular department. And you narrow down your ideas by which ones are in alignment with the mission. Because if an idea is not in alignment with the mission, then it's probably going to be off to a bad start, and you don't want that. So that would be step one in the ideas phase. Step two, taking a cursory look at the budget. At this point, you are not researching heavily and having all sorts of direct reports jump on this and thoroughly research it. What you're doing is drumming up some preliminary numbers to see approximately how much a project like this might run without further research. And so that way you can nix from the bat which projects are feasible or not feasible just based on the budget. Then you also want to compare the ROI, the return on investment, based on the estimated number of labor hours and the estimated expenditure for this particular project. Are you going to get the ROI that the company needs in order to consider this a success, in order to make or meet that profit? So you want to take all of these into account in order to make your selection. Yes, we still want the excitement there, and we still want fascinating ideas there, but at some point the emotion needs to make a logical analytical turn and go through all of these areas: the mission, budget, ROI. Once you've made the selection and you still feel like there are a few too many ideas and your various teams might be spread a little thin, then you can dig in a little more and start developing the specific objectives for each of these ideas. Because if you can't develop that specific objective and state precisely why you're going to do this for the customer and how it's going to fit into the mission and in what way it will generate whatever amount of profit. If you can't narrow the idea down by that, then it's probably not something you want to proceed with, because chances are there will be a lot more issues along the way if you can't clarify this from the beginning.